welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina, also known as Creative Crossy, here online, and I'm going to be making my 2025 sketchbook. Now, before you say anything, the three people who are here, yes, I'm well aware it is March. But fun fact is I already recorded a video for my new sketchbook in January, and I hated it. I was not a fan of how it came out, and since doing that video, I have decided, hey, we can do this better. Let's make a brand new one. So I also wasn't really using that sketchbook. I bought a sketchbook, same brand, that was more horizontal, like it was a wider one, not a vertical notebook. So I tried it out, wasn't loving it. I'm more comfortable with this. So I'm going to be coloring the cover, something I really actually don't do. I either leave it blank or maybe put a sticker or two on it. But I have these Posca paint markers, which are really fun to use. I've used them on projects before, and I'm going over them multiple times, multiple layers on this type of material, the sketchbook material. They are wet, obviously, when you put them on, so I'm being very careful to not smudge my hand across the sketchbook because I am notorious for just making a mess everywhere I go. And the paper I have next to me is sometimes there's little crumblies that get stuck on the marker. So I'm just using that to wipe off so that the marker tip stays clean and pretty chiseled. But as anything, any type of material, the more you use it, the more dull it's going to get. So it's not super crisp or fine anymore. I've had them for a while, but they're just one of those things that, you got to just use till they're dead, like they're too expensive to just, oh, well, I want a new one. And if you can do that, I love that for you. I'm not in that tax bracket. So if they get messed up on a project, if I'm painting on wood or something and the tip gets a little destroyed, as long as there's paint in there, I'm using them. So yeah. So I'm winging it. I had no design idea in my head. I have been obsessed with how you can draw plants or make plants look so luscious digitally and stuff. So I've been drawing a lot of plants, and I have been drawing my little character, and he's not known. He's brand new to me. He's a stranger, in fact, to me. But I like this idea of a little guy, and he has a little sprout on his head, and he's just like, so if you've ever seen Princess Mononoke, that movie, the Okudama, I think they're called, the tree spirits or the forest spirits, they're like these little like ghost guys. They're just little spirits that are from the trees and stuff. And I just love that. I love nature and like that like connection with the spirit world and stuff. That's why I love Avatar. The Last Airbender, not the blue people. Although the blue people Avatar is pretty good. But it's basically just Pocahontas with aliens. Anyway, that's a talk for another time. Anyway, so I decided on the sketchbook that I was just going to draw these little guys in little corners. In my head, they're like white, creamy color. And luckily, I did have that. And then there I'm talking to myself in the video. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm going to put sketch, or maybe I'll put Christina's. And I'm like, that's so cringy. No, I'm just going to put the word sketchbook or sketch. The less letters, the better. So there I'm actually using a ruler instead of how I usually like to do things, which is just wing it and hope it looks good. Because there are certain things like straight lines that if they're not correct, it will bother me. And you're about to see in 2 seconds is me mess up and have to, redo it. So yeah. But back to like my little character thing. I am learning that it is okay to have people see you try. It is okay to be seen starting something, right? So many times I think, and this is maybe from an artist perspective or just someone who grew up on the internet, like I'm a child of YouTube. Not like the post 2012 YouTube. I'm talking like the early days of YouTube where I was 5 years old on here watching Smosh do lip syncs to Pokemon and stuff. So like I watched a lot of YouTubers growing up who were always popular. It feels like they came to me and I already saw them succeeding. Or if I joined like the fan base or watched them, supported them, they got even bigger, right? So I never really got to see anybody from the ground up. Maybe there's exceptions in there, but the big people I'm thinking about, like I'm horrible with names right now. You know, they were already kind of known and then they got even bigger. So it's very rare, I feel like, that you get to watch somebody's progress from the very beginning. God willing, I get to a point where, yeah, I have people that maybe only know me from whatever video that gets viral or seen. And it's not going to be this one. But I'd imagine it's more like in the animation department that something in that field would get passed around and shared and, oh, who's this artist? Like, that's what I see a lot of. Not necessarily these kind of videos, but that's okay. I have been enjoying making these videos and editing them. Oh my God. The last video that's on this channel, the unsuccessful vlog video, I had so much fun editing, and it's mostly playing around with sound effects, and the video like effects. I have a really fun time doing that. And when I was in college, I took an After Effects class. We all had to our freshman year. It was a specific After Effects class because you actually can animate in After Effects. I own a computer. Both my computers cannot handle that. The most it can do is maybe like put together a demo reel. But even still, like, I'd rather use Premiere Pro at this point. I've gotten very comfortable and familiar with it. But After Effects is really cool. You can animate in it for rigging and stuff like that. And there was a whole class we took on that. And I actually had a really fun time learning all special effects work in that class and like different types of video editing. And a big inspo for me at the time too was H3H3, which can be controversial to say nowadays. I don't give a crap because I love them. I've watched them from very early on, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm making an H3 video, because like that's how they got started. They were like, there's a lot of video and like edits and stuff that like you don't know are from them. And there's like a notorious one where like a guy is like tasting ice cream and his mouth goes over his eye. Like, it's just, if you know what I'm talking about, that's actually from them. That's from H3. So when I was taking that class as a freshman in college, like, oh my God, I feel like I'm them. I'm doing what they do, which at the time they were already kind of moving past that. They're doing the podcast stuff, I believe, but it made me think of that. I'm like, oh my God, like that is something that you can do. Like, make a stupid video and people like it and then start to go like, oh my God, I want more. Less nowadays are you seeing that on YouTube. That's mostly a TikTok or Instagram thing, which I'm going to vent about right now. How come the algorithms change every 2 seconds on Instagram? Okay? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, fine, whatever. I'm actually sorry. What happened in that train of thought? Did I spell sketch right? I really hope I did. I think I did. It looks right. Oh my God, how embarrassing would that be if I'm making a whole video, I've already painted this, and I wrote sketch wrong. No, it's correct. Jesus. Oh my God, I really thought I spelled that wrong. Oh, anyway, back to what I'm talking about with the algorithms. Not YouTube. I don't know YouTube algorithms. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not even posting enough to complain about if it gets seen or not. I think YouTube's pretty fair, to be honest with you. And I think they push videos to certain audiences and allow you a chance to grow and have engagement. Okay? Instagram hates that. Unless you're going to be someone who makes reels every day, which I've been doing, and they get maybe 50 views that day, and then over time, whatever, it's so impossible to grow on Instagram. And I'm not buying followers. I'm not going to spend any money that I don't have to boost a post. Why are my own followers not even seeing it? On my art account, the one that, my main one, my original one, I have 600 followers. That's not a lot. It really isn't. But out of those 600, I get maybe 30 people if I make a post that day who see it. Now, could those other accounts be bots? Maybe. I don't think so. A lot of them are. I've looked. They're not even verified, but like they don't look sketchy. They look like someone's private Instagram account. I don't know what the problem is, and it's really upsetting. And I've made an art account for the small business because I feel like another thing with Instagram is they hate when you experiment. They don't want you to like do this and then do this, especially if you have an audience who are barely there. If I make something like an illustration and then the next week I post like, oh, new stickers, and it's like not an illustration, Instagram doesn't know what to do with it. The person who just followed me has no idea who this is because they don't even show it. So basically, I felt like it was inconsistent of me to use my main art account that I want to use to show off my digital art, to show off illustrations and stuff like that, to use that to promote stickers or any type of small business work. Now, trying to grow an Instagram account in 2025 from nothing, and I'm actually not even growing it from nothing. I'll have you know that a lot of my friends and other artists who follow me on, again, like my main Creative Crossy account, have pushed over to there. And I mean like 10 people. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you. But you know what I mean? Like I am starting with something too. And don't get me wrong. I am commenting and following other amazing small business owners and artists on that account. And I just feel like I'm just working really hard for very little results. So this is coming from someone who's been on Instagram since 2013, who has social media experience and some type of, I don't want to say a following, but like an audience, right? Who's struggling. So if you're even smaller in the sense of you're coming from literally 0 followers, 0, experience on that app or history on that app, it's going to be really tough. That makes me really upset because where else do you go? What is Blue Sky? I'm trying to use it. It's basically art Twitter. But I'm also in the same boat of the less social media I use, the better, which I'm sure a lot of people are in. So how do you reach a new audience? Like that is a question that I need an answer to. So I feel like YouTube's a safe one. But then again, you need to have video content to make and edit and produce. And it is a sea. It is saturated with tons of videos every day, which is fine. But only the lucky few kind of pick up, right? That's not to say, like, again, like you can't grow on YouTube. You can't grow on Instagram. You absolutely can. But I think the people who post these stupid, here's how you grow your Instagram account in 30 days. You end up having to pay them money. Like, don't. They're only growing their account because of basically a scam at the end of the day. That's what I believe. Because I'm doing it authentically and not, it's really not like a cheat code. Like, turn this thing on, turn that thing on. All right, I did that. Look at that. Oh, actually, sorry, I don't even have that setting. I don't have video preferences and stuff on my Instagram. You ever have that problem? Like, I try to, like, turn on this preference with a video. Like, I forget what it was exactly. It was a couple months ago. I was trying to figure this out. I literally don't have it. And then I looked it up, like, yeah, Instagram, some followers don't have it. And then I'm like, am I shadow banned? Is it like I don't know what it was. I thought I was being punished by the Zuck. I was scared. I don't know what it was. I think it's just they're going to push certain accounts, certain people, certain content, and everyone else has to kind of just figure it out, which is where we are today. That became a social media rant, but you know what? That's going to be part of the video title. I'm making a sketchbook and I talk about social media because that's been on my mind, and I'm in the boat of being on social media is horrible for your mental health. Being on social media is horrible for a lot of different reasons. I'll just stick with the art example. I'm going to stay away from the personal stuff. But as an artist, being on social media can be one of the most detrimental things you can be doing to yourself and your work. And here's why, okay? And this is coming from somebody who's trying to use it to grow. But as I use it to grow, which is, again, it feels like a hopeless endeavor, I'm constantly comparing myself to other accounts who have thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. Also, sorry that this is cut off a little bit. It's hard to make sure that everything's in focus, and I made a mess on the desk. And it's hard to make sure everything's in focus and draw. I'm constantly comparing myself to established artists, and I'm saying established in like the small business sense, who are making a living full time doing this. That is their job. That is their career. And I'm not going to even go into like their art's good, their art's not good. It's not about that, because you don't need to have, like, I think at the end of the day, you can make an argument for all art is good. Like technique, whatever. Like you can make an argument that any type of art is good, and the skill and whatever, blah, blah, blah. My thing is just, how do you post whatever and your followers see it? How do you post something and the right audience sees it? How am I seeing it? Like, how is it getting pushed to me? Are they paying? I don't know. Like, how much money are you spending? And if that's your full-time job, like, that makes sense, right? But for someone who's trying to make it their full-time job, trying to start out, who doesn't have that money, what am I supposed to do, right? So it's been really frustrating for me mentally with my art specifically, being on social media as often as I've been, trying to make stupid reels. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Reels are stupid. You know who did it right? TikTok. You know what I prefer to make? TikTok videos. But guess who doesn't like TikTok videos on their algorithm? Instagram. So I either have to pick and make a separate TikTok video or an Instagram reel, which is really frustrating. Because how much time am I supposed to do? How much time in the day do I have to make separate reels of the same thing? Separate videos of the same thing. It's so annoying. Oh my God. If you can relate, please comment. Please tell me I'm not the only one who has this problem of like, okay, push reels, make reels, do this, do that, okay? And then I do it, and then like nobody sees it. I was like, oh, well, it's because you didn't turn this thing on, and also you need to pay me money. It's like, why? Oh my God. If I can go back in time and tell my younger high schooler self, I'd say ditch the private social media. Like, don't even have a personal one. Nobody cares. You're gonna end up blocking half your family anyway. No, but for real, like, I would have just went head first, full diving into it. My art account, I waited too long. My biggest regret. And this goes back to my saying of the year. You don't know what you don't know, right? How can you do better? How can you know what to do when you're trying to figure out and no one's telling you? So if you don't know it, how can you do it? So here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to start focusing more on making, and not making videos, not making reels every freaking day. I'm just going to start making art and not worrying about if I record it anymore, because when I do record it, it doesn't even matter. And when I do record it, it does get in the way and hinder how fast I can work. It gets in the way of like for this video, right? And I did this for a specific reason though. Like, I wanted to make a video where I talk and I record myself drawing, because at the end of the day, I'm an artist. I should be able to draw like that, right? And show it off and inspire others, or just for myself feel like, hey, I was creative today and I feel really good about it. Like, that's what I want to feel. This took so much longer because I had to make sure every so often that something was in frame or that the camera was, turned on, and like it just took extra time. And I don't know if this video is even going to do well, and by well I mean be seen. So it's one of those things where it's like you got to really, I guess, pick your battles with social media and with filming and trying to experiment. There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many things you can do by yourself. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the video. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I as far as recording, this was easy because I have my camera and the tripod set up. I just had to make sure that everything was close enough that you could actually see what I'm doing. But like for this part, like I'm thinking it's in frame and it's not. And then I move it. But the reels and stuff on my phone, it's so frustrating. I hate recording it. So I'm just kind of stuck because it's very hard to build an audience when the people that probably would follow or see your work can't even find you. So if you're like me and feel that way, we're not alone. We have each other and maybe we can help each other. Oh God, I hate it. Okay. So as you can see, they look like little turnips, the little guys. And I just feel like, so if you've seen it also, like the new Studio Ghibli movie, The Boy and the Heron, there's like these little I guess they're ghosts or spirits or whatever, but they're little floaty guys that are in like the other world. And that's what they remind me of too. I feel like they're a mix of those two characters from those Ghibli movies. So I have discovered that I really enjoy in my art putting these little sparkles everywhere. I put them when I get an order from Etsy. I always handwrite my thank you notes and I decorate it so each note is literally individual. There's no two notes, thank you notes that look alike. And I always do these little sparkles and stars and stuff. So I'm just incorporating that into the sketchbook cover, which I haven't really talked about, but if you saw, I layered the paint a lot. It's one of those paint markers that it's not that it's like see-through, but as it dries, you can see like I don't know if it's a leather, but you can see the material underneath, which it's like an opaque thing. So I'm like, I want it to be colored and you don't see any dark parts come through the paint. And if you're wondering why I have to shake it, it's just to get the paint moving around to the tip. So like going back to the social media conversation though, and I'll stop like ranting about Instagram, but like I missed out on the boat with DeviantArt too. Like that was already dead by the time I was making work to show. And there's so many artists who are adults, like way older than me, who got their chance to shine on that app. And I never did. So, be sad. I think it's still around, but it's not what it was. Like, DeviantArt was a month. DeviantArt was before Instagram, for those who don't know. And it was for artists. And like a lot of them either went to Twitter or had a Twitter. And then I moved to Instagram. So that was like that's where we are. And then it's like there is really no more platforms for artists because Instagram doesn't push photos or posts, and if you do, you need to like put a carousel. So what I end up doing is just literally zooming in on my piece. I'm like, I'm not putting more pictures in. Like I drew one thing, that's what you're gonna get. Shouldn't be that hard to share my work. That being said, my rant about it is I'm upset that I missed out on platforms for artists that artists were on, that people hired artists on. Like, it's very difficult nowadays. Social media is dying. And if you disagree with me, then you haven't been on it. It truly is dying. 100% believe it. We're at the end of social media. This year, things change. We're going to go back to like niche websites and less with like giant platforms of people sharing. It's gonna be more like niche stuff. I truly believe that. Like, it's already happening. Like, Blue Sky is really for artists. I don't really see a lot of people who are using it as Twitter, because X still exists, but who the hell is on it right now? Truly, like, who is using it right now? Because I don't know anybody. I've stopped using it. So upsetting. And why are we talking about this? Why are we going over this all again? Social media is because we're trying to grow as artists, and a lot of opportunities are going to come from that, and your following comes from that, and how you get sales comes from that. It all comes from the same place. Now, you can make an argument that that's not true, and I 100% agree. I've had many artists, friends, not have giant social media platforms, be successful and do well, or get job opportunities or whatever. You know, you can make an argument that you don't need it to get work. You don't. You absolutely do not need social media to have a good portfolio to get work. You know, like, those two are individual things, and they can both exist and be true. But it helps. Like, I'm so sorry, the camera's blurry at the part. But, like, having social media helps. Especially if you want to be independent artists and support yourself or whatever. Whatever that, umbrella term, a full-time artist, you're gonna need to use some type of social media to interact with people who are gonna buy your prints, buy your work. You're gonna offer classes, then how are you gonna contact them? And YouTube's great. And honestly, like I said in the beginning, I think YouTube is going to be the way to go going forward for a lot of people as far as growing. I truly believe I'm going to reach more of an audience who are interested in these kind of videos, interested in my art, my style, whatever you want to freaking call it, through YouTube than social media. The thing that literally Instagram and everything else is designed to do, I'm going to actually use YouTube and reach those people instead. Because even like the YouTube short, I think it's YouTube Shorts, I get, if I subscribe to somebody, I get their shorts. I see it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting these random people. I mean, I do on my, so I have an art one, and I have like my own private YouTube, account. But I literally can see people who I follow, why I'm following them. I want to see what they're doing. Or I guess there's like what is it called? Like, not a comment section, but like an area, like a community post thing. It's almost like a tweet, right? Like, you're interacting with your subscribers, so it pops up on like your home feed or whatever, and it's like, hey, no video this week or whatever, like, and that's a way to not use social media, but still connect an audience, right? But that's neither here or there. That's YouTube, and YouTube's doing very well. I think if there was ever a time to grow on YouTube, it's now. I just really hope they don't push the shorts the way Instagram has pushed the reels. I don't know if long form content on YouTube is still the way to go, because the shorts completely go against that, but I guess it's their own thing. Like, a lot of people make videos, or if they are streamers and stuff, like, they take clips from their long form podcasts, Twitch streams, whatever, and post that on YouTube. So I guess there's room for both, is what I'm saying. I don't think it's one or the other here on YouTube, whereas Instagram, like I'm saying, is you have to post reels. They're not going to push your photos. But at the end of the day, guess what? My photos do better than the reels. So on my my main Creative Crossy account, there will be photos. On my Creative Crossy shop, it's going to be mixed. It's going to be both. But know that I hate everyone I do. Know that I don't find any joy in it. And know that I wish there was a better way to not feel like I'm asking for viewers or followers or an audience. I wish there was a way to just naturally and genuinely make that connection and not have to play their game. So yeah, social media rant. I wish I could offer advice, but I'm in the boat of I need advice. Like, I need help. Who's helping me? This is kind of personal, but I'll say it. Do you ever feel like by the time you're old enough to do the thing that maybe was around when you were a kid, or appreciate the things that were around you when you were younger? Do you ever feel like by the time you're able to do it or enjoy it or understand it, it's just ruined? For an example, growing up, we always took family vacations. And I'm talking like from the time I was a baby to right before and a year after my grandmother passed. I was 9 turning 10 when she passed. I loved those family vacations. I did. It was like a great time to be with my family, my cousins. And by the time I could not only remember, but enjoy them, or, you know, even when I was older and I can bring, like, because I had cousins that brought like their partners, whoever, on vacation, bring my partner, my boyfriend on vacation, whoever, they stopped. We didn't do them anymore. We by the time I was able to actually enjoy the vacations and make actual memories, not being 5 years old and being told what I did. Yeah, you did do horseback riding. It's like, I don't remember it, or looking through pictures and going like, I vaguely remember this. They stopped. And it always felt so unfair. So like the DeviantArt thing I just said, it's like, by the time I was making digital artwork or not even digital. Let's go back. By the time that I was posting art, and I would just draw like this. I would draw in my sketchbook. It wasn't good work. I was drawing on Sharpies sometimes, just being myself, just being a 13-year-old on social media. By the time I was old enough to do that, not only was DeviantArt gone, but I was not using social media the way that would set me up for success. Why? Because I was 13. And it's like, okay, now I'm better, right? I'm in college. Not now, just saying, like, I'm in college. I'm making work now. Guess who's not posting on social media? Because, like, I'm just going to focus on college. Me. The time when I should have been posting and building an audience was in college. And I didn't. And now, because that was when it was okay. Like, you actually could post something and it grow and it got seen. And the hashtags meant something. When I had hashtagged something, that audience, that if you looked up that hashtag, it got pushed to that page. And now that doesn't exist. But guess what? My work's better now than it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's very frustrating. I'm struggling with that arm. I'm so sorry. I'm drawing that without a reference, by the way. I'm just freehanding it. I didn't really plan to do the body. That was mostly like, I'll draw a face and have her like holding flowers. So I don't want to really draw the rest of her chest and everything. But, yeah. But, you know what I mean? Like, by the time you're old enough to finally enjoy that thing. Okay, another example of my personal life. I turned 21 in 2020. Guess what's closed? Guess what's not happening? The bars and everything. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about COVID on YouTube. I really don't care. It messed my family up. It messed me up. It absolutely has detrimental effects. The lockdowns, that I am so off with time. I don't feel my age. My brother doesn't feel his age. I feel lost. I feel like I lost a year or two of my life. And I I've had a lot of opportunities taken from me, especially in college. So I'll get into it. Here's a timeline of the last 5 years for me. And I'm gonna not talk about my personal grief and stuff. I'll save that for a whole nother thing. Although on this channel, if you look at the animated video, the first video on this channel, that pretty much sums up what my junior year of college was like. But halfway through my junior year, right? Trauma happens, things happen, and I come back to school. My school's in New York City, and that is where, like, if you remember, oh my god, and look at that, I'm posting this in March, so like, anniversary time. The last time that I was ever on my campus, and I was commuting at this point, but the last time I was ever going to be a student on that campus in those buildings, in those classrooms, was March, I think 13th, that Friday, or for me it might have been Thursday. And we had just come back from spring break, and I was really concerned. I've never smelled the subways so clean before. And if you live in New York, or if you ever visited New York, or if you travel to New York, right, you know that there's just awful things happening on that subway, awful smells, horrible things all the time. So when you walk into the subway, on the train, and it's clean, like I swear it was sparkling clean, and you can smell the bleach. Like, I know this train's never been cleaned, and I know I just stepped into something. Like, the poles were shiny. I was like, something's wrong. I shouldn't be here. Like, I was scared. So I go to my classes that day. No one's talking about it. We're all just like, but why are we here? You know, like, no one's really saying, like, what's going to happen. And I had one teacher who was, like, very paranoid about it, though. Like, I didn't see that day, but he had sent us an email that the faculty got before the rest of us got. And he's like, go home. No classes for the next 2 weeks. And I forget if we got work or if they were just, like, an extended 2 week. I think for some of my classes, it was, like, continue the work or, like, email me, whatever. But I'll never forget when I got that email, because that would be the last time I ever would be in that college. And not only would it be the last time I'm in that college, it'd be the last time I was a student there. It'd be the last time that I'm in the city for the next 3 years. So my junior and senior year get taken away from me. The reason I went to college, the opportunities that school could give me, the resources that were available to me were stripped away from me. And I was still paying, by the way, full tuition to get online classes. Okay? So let's not even go there, 'cause that pisses me off. The labs, the community, the opportunities were taken away. There were no internships. There was nothing happening, because the world was literally falling apart that year, that month. We did not know what was going to happen. Being told that you can't leave your house, there's a deadly virus, was terrifying. And I think all of us who are adults can agree how terrifying that was. And then the hindsight of it all, of like what was true, the misinformation, this and that, like everything that comes out afterwards is insane, right? But personally, for me, at a time where I actually needed my friends and family the most, I was denied that. It was not safe. I was not allowed to leave or visit. So I go home and I'm stuck there. And I end up trying to find a way to make at the time, my bedroom and my desk in my bedroom a permanent workspace for the time being, before I'm moving into what I call it my studio, but you know, where my studio is now. fast forward, my entire senior year is online. And there came a point, I think, the first semester, like the first half of the year, where I was still optimistic. And then I was sitting down and like, after like an eye doctor appointment or something, I got an email about how, classes are going to remain online. And I broke down. I had one of the first art school mental breakdowns, which, it took a while. It took me till senior year. I think at that point it was like a mix of different griefs. I've probably had breakdowns before, but you know what I mean? Like this was like a big one where I was shaking because like I was just, the worst news you could have told me was like, yeah, you're never going back to school. This is it. You don't get to see your friends again. And who knew, and I didn't know, like, when I would see them again, and thank God for social media, like, ironically, because, like, we all could stay connected, but, you go to school, and I love to talk about this one, like, the pros and cons of college, especially for art school, but you do go there for connection, you do go there for community and friendship and networking and everything, and that was denied, and like, everyone did the best they could with the information we had, but it sucked. We can all agree it sucked, I know we're headed toward the end of the video. I don't know how much longer I have. Let me see. But a big thing, too, with my college, an awesome thing that we got, that a lot of alum were able to do is graduate. I didn't get to do that. So for me, I have no closure with college. I don't. I felt like I went to school and got sent home and never went back. And I can only imagine, because also my brother was in high school, senior in high school. He did not get to have closure with his high school experience either and graduate. And he doesn't plan on going to college right now. I mean, things can change. So a big ceremony, a big celebration, finishing school, finishing, the required K through 12 school, getting that diploma was taken away from him and many others in the class of 2020 and 2021, which is what I graduated in. I do feel like those 2 years, and actually I'll even make an argument, my year even more so, 2021, are forgotten and neglected, because everyone feels bad for the class of 2020, but we move on. And I think a lot of people assumed that things were back to normal-ish the year after, and it wasn't. It was still quarantining and masks and everything the year later. I feel like I just got left behind by a lot of people, a lot of like my school, my like opportunities passed, and it was like, oh, this is only opened. This internship's only for if you're in school for credit. This is only for people who graduated the last 6 months, and those things weren't even around when I was like a year out from college, because it was still weird. I don't blame it, but I think to acknowledge it though is fair, that how I imagined my career post college would be was not taken into consideration. Oh yeah, there might be like a global lockdown, so fit that into your plan somewhere. So I truly feel like I'm stunted and I'm still playing catch up. And that goes back to, it just feels like I became an adult at like one of the worst times to be an adult and have to pay for crap. like everything's expensive. I can't afford to live on my own. I can't afford to move out, everything's expensive. And my boyfriend will go, if I was born 5 years earlier. And this hurts my feelings because we don't have a giant age gap. We do have an age gap. It's like 4.5 years. So there's absolutely no way that if he was born 5 years earlier, that it would have ever been appropriate, because I met him when I was, turning 20. So he would have been turning 30, which is gross. Like, no. But there's absolutely no way, no world where that would happen. But he always goes, if I was born 5 years earlier and graduate college when, whatever, I would have been able to get a house and like sell it and like have more, whatever, like his plan is. I stopped listening, honestly, Greg. I'm sorry I said it. I stopped listening at that point because it hurts my feelings. But I get what he's saying, and I understand that feeling 100%. I understand it with things in my personal life, with my family. I understand it with my school, and I understand it with right now just social media, which is so stupid in the grand scheme of things. But like I said, for the type of work I'm doing and what type of work that other artists do, it does affect us. It does make a difference. Is Tumblr like good? I don't know. I've tried. I don't know how it works. I was never a Tumblr person, girly, what do you want to call it. I always just thought it was like people shared like quotes and stuff on there, but which is true, but like it's not the only thing, obviously. Oh my God. Look at me yap for 46 minutes straight. I took a break because I misspoke about something, and then I continued to yap. Oh my Lord. I'll talk about what's going on in the video. That is me. I like drawing myself sometimes. I don't know how accurate it is. Girl, where's that leg going? Thank you. It's not accurate at all. I'm not that cute at all. But I like drawing myself as like a character in other universes. I don't do it often, but sometimes I'll put like a soundtrack to whatever on like Game. Oh, I love drawing myself in Game of Thrones. It's fun. Like, I think I'd be a Stark. I feel like I'd be really good as a Stark or a dragon. What are they called? Targaryen. I feel like that'd be cool too. No, but like I like drawing myself as a character in certain like universes. And there's a couple artists who I follow who do that. I forgot the name of one of them. Let me look it up while I'm talking. But it's really fun. And for some reason, I gave myself a Torchic. I don't think I've ever played Pokemon Hoenn and picked Torchic. What the heck was I going to say there? Torchic. Crap, what is their name? I also just liked one of their pictures, too. See, I'm terrible with names. Let's see. Leave me a comment if you like Pokemon and if you played. Wait, like, what was your first generation? For me, my first gen was Gen 4. And, forever in my heart, I picked Piplup. My ride or die. So cute. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm looking for this artist and I cannot find them. I thought I liked it. This is the problem with Instagram. You go to look for people you like and follow and you can't. Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm looking. I can't do more than 2 things at once. All I'll say about the sketching right now, though, is if you notice the lighting's a little different. This is me coming home from work. I came home from work. I'm not going to find that artist. I'll leave it in the comment if I find it later. I came home from work. I believe I worked out Monday. I didn't work out. I taught a class of 8 children, all at different swim levels. by myself. No, I usually teach them by myself. I usually also have help though, but it's on days when, of course, there's only like 3 kids. So I tell my coworker, no, you can go home. Like, you got a long drive. I'll do it. They'll watch it. If I gotta go to the bathroom or everything, then they'll leave. But of course, they weren't there this week, and I had to teach 8 children by myself. It's not that difficult, but it's very hard to give 8 different kids at different levels 8 different types of feedback. My brain at 7:30 at night, my brain was fried. So going back to the Pokemon thing, I'm drawing like adult version Dawn. I'm saying adult version. That sounds like I'm implying something. No, she's like a grown up version Dawn, not adult. No, I loved Gen 4. I think it's, honestly, and I'm biased, but I think it is one of the best Pokemon games. It was hard. And I'm not saying that as a person who played it only as a child who never played Pokemon before, because I feel like that's going to make everything hard, right? As an adult who's gone back and played it, it's hard. The battles are actually hard. You need to use strategy. You can't just willy-nilly, pick the strong team. Like, you actually have to be strategic. And I think Cynthia is one of the best champions. A new Pokemon game was announced last week. So I don't know if I'll have time or the money to play it, but I've never not played a Pokemon game. I have not finished a lot of games. I think the last game I actually completed all the way through was what's the one with the old and new, like the ancient, what is that Pokemon game? Not Sword and Shield, because I did finish Sword and Shield. I did not play the post game. Pokemon games. Pokemon Scarlet, that's what it was. I actually did finish Pokemon Scarlet, although there is extra, right? There's extra to that game. I didn't do that. If you don't release that stuff close to when you actually give players enough time to finish the game, I'm gonna lose interest. I'm already on to the next hobby. That was 2022. That's disgusting. I did play a little bit of Pokemon Legend Arceus, but it is different. It's not like a normal Pokemon game, so my brain is having trouble. Plus, I've been playing it on the Switch, not on a TV, so I think that also will affect the quality of play. Like Legend of Zelda games need to be played on a TV. Sorry, Tears of the Kingdom needs to be played on a TV. You need to have a screen big enough to appreciate all of that. Did I play it? Absolutely not. You know why? I won't finish it. It's between that and a different hobby sometimes, and it's hard for me with those types of games, especially because Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to a game I also didn't play. It's hard to get into them, but I appreciate the artwork. I appreciate the gameplay and the story. I watched the Game Grumps play it. Yes, I just named 2 different YouTubers in this video. I love the Game Grumps. I did see them live 2 years ago, a year ago. It was so cool. I love Danny. I love Aaron. Game Grump girly forever. Okay, we are at the end of this video. I'm doing my little slow-mo montage. I yapped for an hour. I literally talked for an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was just some background noise for you while you were doing something, because I don't know. But thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me and listening to me rant and talk about everything and anything, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.